Welcome, one and all, to I'm Nature. I'm your host, Brian Porter, and this week I have my first musical guest on my program. I've been going for about a year and a month now. His name is David Castle. He's written the most amazing song called Digital Clouds under the group name Homage. He's a rapper, and David, welcome to I Am Nature.
Hello, what's up, Brian? Thanks for having me on.
Well, I mean, I love that song. Every time I listen to it, David, I like it more.
Nice, thank you.
I mean, you got so many incredible images in this video that you made. What I want to do is I want to first, before we get too far into the interview, I want to just play this song for everyone to listen to, just in case there's somebody out there who hasn't heard it. Okay?
All right, that's fine.
Okay, here we go, folks. Digital Clouds coming your way. Let me just move my mic here so we pick it up better. Here she comes.
Wave of water that came through the village, killing 35 people. Weather manipulation. It's been going on that long. They have strontium, they have barium, it's acidifying water, it's acidifying the land. The ability to generate precipitation, fog storms on Earth, to modify space weather, and the production of artificial weather, all are part of an integrated set of military technology.
Displaying chemicals in nanoparticle form. The government is using HARP to be starting a storm. The water shortage is a topic they're complaining about, but they don't even want to stop it. They're creating a drought. Planes now make clouds when they spray out shit. You can see it because it happens every day now, kid. You can read the patents and see what they say about this. They make town sick. It ain't safe to stay around this. If they didn't mean to leave a trail of scatters in the sky, why am I seeing geometric patterns from the line? You're blind to the facts and afraid of the truth. Your mind's trapped by the lies that they say in the news. Planes spew poison now, starting barely is on. Cause they treat us like rats that they experiment on. Anybody would agree that it clearly is wrong. I hope you do something about it after hearing this song. I see airplanes spraying shit on my town. Television being used for conditioning now. No one even speaks about it like it isn't allowed. The sky's made of white snakes and digital clouds. I see airplanes spraying shit on my town. Television being used for conditioning now. No one even speaks about it like it isn't allowed. The sky's made of white snakes and digital clouds. The weather's controlled. It's part of a malevolent goal. But they got us all believing in whatever we're told. While we're sold lies and myths by climate change. White clouds fly out from behind the plains. Nice days turn gray. No more sunny blue skies. Whole states in the haze. Starting from a few lines. Lies and deceit only help it increase. This is for the poor fellas with Morgellons disease. The executives of Wall Street get a paper killer scheme. Sending out a hurricane to devastate the Philippines. It's real mean. All the shit is just messed up. Based on the technology of Nikola Tesla. Unless the people fucking wake up soon, we'll be consumed by the evil that was straight up doom. I assume that you care about your family and friends. We need to all work together so this tragedy ends. I see airplanes spraying shit on my town. Television being used for conditioning now. No one even speaks about it like it isn't allowed. The sky's made of white snakes and digital clouds. I see airplanes spraying shit on my town. Television being used for conditioning now. No one even speaks about it like it isn't allowed. The sky's made of white snakes and digital clouds. They get tornadoes to grow, make volcanoes explode. Even giant tidal waves and hurricanes to control. Planes flown in the Gulf were spraying and through Katrina. They started earthquakes in Haiti and Fukushima. They seem to torture nations so they casually increase. Different corporations profit from disaster relief. And the source of motivation now would have to be greed and domination on the planet from the land to the sea. Need to read about it and think of any reason. Now read aloud. Let's defeat it now. We'll be devoured by evil cowards. We think the power's in control, but so untouchable. With these guns I hold, they'll overload them with a bunch of holes. I crush souls on the souls, make corrupt goals. Climate control in California do a dust bowl. The whole world's all a prey to a few, and the only person who can still save it is you. I see airplanes spraying shit on my town. Television being used for conditioning now. No one even speaks about it like it isn't allowed. The sky's made of white snakes and digital clouds. I see airplanes spraying shit on my town. Television being used for conditioning now. No one even speaks about it like it isn't allowed. The sky's made of white snakes and digital clouds.
Well, there you have it.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's one of those times when I wish I had a video set up going here. But
Wow.
man, I hope it came through okay because I sort of moved my speaker over to or my mic over to where my TV's my sound man. So yeah, I mean, what inspired you to get into that song, put it together?
I don't know, I guess I've always just ever since I found out about like the Geo Engineering chemtrail thing, I wanted to write a song about it, and just so more people would know about it and make a video because to my knowledge, I didn't know that there was anything like that. So I wanted to kind of put it out there and have people think about it. That's about it. Yeah.
Wow. Well, you put a lot of great links to for people who want to go to that video. You just go to YouTube, type in Homage, Homage, and Digital Clouds. There's you got 3 videos up there now under Homage.
Yeah, Homage TV is the YouTube channel.
Homage TV. Okay.
Homage TV.
That's it. And if you go to the video and you click on more, you'll see he's got all sorts of great references for research. If you want to do your research, it'd be a great place to like say, teach some kids about geoengineering. Say a teenager, someone into rap, because you got all sorts of links there underneath there.
Yeah, I wanted to do that because I wanted people, because so many people don't even think it's real, They think, oh, well, where's the evidence and stuff? But there's so much evidence, but people just don't know where to find it, So I wanted that to be part of it. Put some links in there, and there you go. Plus, those guys don't get enough credit, All these people that are doing all that work, people like Clifford Carnicom and, all those people.
Who are some of your favorite geoengineering researchers?
My favorites? I don't know, man. They're all good. Well, I don't know if they're all good, actually. You got some that are may have been compromised, I've been hearing, but I think, let's see. I like Clifford Carnicom. All that stuff he's doing with Morgellons is crazy. Have you talked to him?
I actually have never spoken directly with Clifford, no.
Yeah, I think that guy's been doing it for a long time, too. And I got Elena Freeland's book, and she's cool,
I've had her on.
Stuff. Nice. Greg Palin, he's cool.
Greg, I had him on with Suzanne Mayer, Bye Bye Blue Sky, and we actually chatted. I don't know if you... I know you're not a big scaper because I tried to reconnect with you a few times. No luck, but I know not everybody is a scaper. I never used to be until I started my radio show. So if you don't need to use it, well, use it. But it's a great place to share information. So I recommend everybody get Skype because it's so awesome. There's no limit on size of files you can share. You can put a whole movie on Skype and share it. So I love it. But Greg, yeah, we were talking. Did you know that Greg was trying to put looked into getting your video shown on Times Square?
Yeah, we talked about that. That's cool, man. Yeah, Greg's a cool guy. I like Greg.
Yeah, we've done that show together, and we had actually a really nice discussion about other ways to get the message out. Putting panels up on every truck you could find. A lot of truckies are kind of into this issue, right? Because of a lot of them listen to alternative radio, probably more like George Norrie style stuff. But he's had a lot of geoengineering people on too. So it's certainly it's sort of interesting, the issue, because it's gotten so much alternative play on Facebook, on web pages and whatnot, but man, is it tough to get the mainstream to admit to it.
Yeah, dude, they're brainwashed, Like, the population's totally brainwashed, and they don't want to believe that that's even possible. It's too scary, like, goes against everything they know. So they just dismiss it rather than looking into it and seeing all the evidence. They just say it's not true and act like it's not happening.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It is. I think there's another layer to this problem, though. Is I think it's one of the top technologies that they don't want us to know about. I mean, let's face it. I mean, nobody likes GMO, but it's out there. Nobody likes nuke power, and it's out there. It's not like they're saying it doesn't exist, but with this, I mean, they're saying it doesn't exist, and it's so bloody obvious that it exists, and still they're saying that. So there's got to be some major pressure bearing down on these people in the mainstream to say no, 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 and the weather channels and all these folks. So, yeah, no, it's definitely, I think, the primary weapon of the military-industrial complex right now. And it's big time.
You think it has to do with the space-based weapons and stuff like that, or kind of like Nikola Tesla, like energy weapons stuff?
Yeah, it's a whole range of. I think you mentioned Alana Freeland. I think she has written the definitive book, and she's got another one coming out, which I can't wait to read. It's a whole bunch of different technologies. And it's part of the Depop agenda. Yeah, it's a biggie, and it's something that people have to know about and understand, and we have to come together as activists. And that was Bernadette. Hopefully, I'll find her way to her Skype, and we'll get her on a little later. But she's trying to bring the Geo Engineering group together in Canada, which is really important, and as it is in the U.S. I mean, we gotta. There's a lot of people doing a lot of cool information sites, but we've got to get some activism going at a much higher level. And music, culture is what's missing in this movement. And that's why I wanted to have you on, because I've seen a few other, little snippets, little, videos about geoengineering and whatnot. But, yours has got everything that you would want in a song to kind of lead a movement.
Nice, man. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. And that's why I try to make it like that, try to mention everything, or as much as I could and make it rhyme. And I don't know, it's weird, but yeah, I tried to do a lot of research and stuff and put, stuff that I knew to be true. Not try to sound like an idiot, I mean,
was this your first rap song, this one?
No.
Rap, all together, put together song?
No. I mean, I've written so many songs, man. Written a lot of verses, and. Well,
let me. I should explore more of your career then, because I honestly thought that this video was one of your first ever made. So, how long have you been doing this?
It was the first. It was the first thing I released. Actually, no, it was the second thing I released, but the first video. And yeah, I don't know. I wanted to hone my craft before I started putting stuff out there, But when did I start? I guess I started writing raps and stuff when I was 17 or something like that. And I'm 22 now. It's about 5 years ago. Yeah.
You're pretty smart for a 22-year-old, I'll tell you.
Hey, thanks.
Whipping through all those research sites and figuring it all out and putting it together. And, did you go to art school or anything like that?
No, never did anything like that.
Yeah. Do you have a musical background in your family or artistic background?
Not really. Well, actually, my great grandparents were musicians, but that's about it. And I have an uncle who's a musician, but not in my immediate family. No, I'm pretty much the only one doing music.
Okay.
Well, it's mostly my friends that got me into it.
All right. So, what, in high school you started talking about it or reading about it online?
What, about hip hop?
About geoengineering and things like that.
Oh man, I don't know when did I get into that? I guess it was. No, I don't think I knew about it in high school. I had heard about it, but didn't think it was true. It wasn't until probably a year or two after high school that I really started researching it. But I always knew something was wrong, No, that we've been being lied to, but the extent of it wasn't something that I was aware of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the opening dialogue of Digital Clouds. Who is that?
You know what? I think that's David Icke.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's something. That's what my producer did that. My friend Andre goes by Louis. He's the one who makes all the beats and stuff. So basically, how I made the song was I recorded it to a completely different beat, different instrumental, and then sent it to him, and then he took the vocals and then made a song around that, you know? If that makes sense.
So how many people were involved in the making of this of Digital Clouds?
What, the song? Well, see,
The whole thing, like, what are the different? If I wanted to make a rap video, what kind of talent would I need to do? What sort of components go into one of them?
Well, you need a rapper, and that would be me. And then you need a producer. You don't necessarily need a producer, but if you want to have your own, style of stuff, if you want to have it how you want it to be, then you're going to need a producer, somebody who makes like beats and stuff like that. And then you need somebody who makes videographer. So basically 3 people was the main thing, but also had like friends and stuff that were in the video. So basically you only need a couple people. These days you could do it all by yourself if you wanted to,
I guess the hard part is actually the music and the lyrics. Those are the 2 more difficult aspects.
What's that? I couldn't hear you.
The music and the lyrics, would you say those are the most challenging parts of making a music video?
You're kind of breaking up. Are you asking about what? One more time.
Okay, let me say it again. I'm surprised I'm breaking up here because I've got a very strong signal here. No, I was asking you about what's the hardest part about making a music video? Is it the lyrics or is it the music?
The lyrics or the music? I don't know. Like, I guess it depends who you are, I guess, or what you're trying to write a song about.
Yeah. For you on this song, what would you say was more?
For me, I don't. It took me. Actually, I was trying to write this song. Like, I wrote a few different versions of it, but I never got it. It took me a while to get it exactly how I wanted it. So it is hard to, get the lyrics sounding exactly how you want them and still have the information that you want, but still make them sound good. So yeah, it's definitely, man, it's hard to write lyrics, kind of. It's fun, though. It's rewarding. And then, I don't know the first thing about making instrumentals and stuff like that, so that's hard, too.
And that was your friend, Louis. Louis helped with that.
Exactly, yeah. And he's the one who's making the whole album, too.
And how long have you known Louis?
All the instrumentals, producing the album.
Yeah, how long have you known Louis?
Yes, indeed.
I guess we're having a problem with some of the sound here, folks. It's just typical of sometimes interference or whatnot. How long have you known Louis?
Man, since like 6th grade, probably.
Wow.
Yeah, we've been friends a long time. Which is why it's cool to make music with him, because we're like on the same page. I don't got to worry about it being something which I'm not going to like, because we're into the same stuff, I guess, to an extent.
Yeah, exactly. And where did you get the cool mask, the cool gas mask?
Oh, I got those. Those came from the Ukraine. I ordered them on the internet. There's some like military surplus things. I don't know. They're real gas masks, though.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. They're hot, too, man. They're like... You get sweating in those things.
I thought they were pretty cool. They look really authentic.
Yeah, they totally are. Gas masks are weird, man. Like, biological warfare, and it's nasty.
Yeah, how long have you known about that kind of stuff, biological warfare, and the fact that the military's invested billions in numerous different types of viruses and bacteria, and research this and that, plague, and you name it. Oh, that's been something that you've been aware of?
I guess I've always known the government has things which they're not telling the public about, top secret stuff and crazy weapons. But when I really started finding out the extent of everything that's going on, that was within like the last few years. Just, going down the wormhole and finding all this crazy stuff. It becomes addicting, because you feel like you got to relearn everything. You got to, like, I don't know, find the truth. It's hard.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, and I kind of went through a similar thing when I was a kid. I did it through a different vehicle. I went to study philosophy. But you're an artist, so you're discovering it just through your own creativity. And that's this is something that's really got to be fostered and promoted, because I think that this is what's holding us back in the geoengineering movement, is the lack of culture behind it.
Yeah, well, it's because it's something that was totally planned, because they've made it uncool, Like, it's not cool to go against the status quo or to be different from everybody else. And that's how kids are. They don't want to be different. They don't want to be ostracized or left out. So it takes balls to, like, stand up and say, like, this is happening. We need to talk about this, because it's, people are going to think you're weird, and they're going to be ridiculed and criticized. And that's, like, the worst thing for a kid. So, yeah, changing that around is definitely something which needs to happen, because the things kids are into these days are just not, it's just stupid, man. They got, I don't know, man. Kids don't care about what's going on in the world. Basically, it's like the hypersexualization of the youth and just what they're doing to the kids and making them care about. It's not beneficial to our movement, So
it's a distraction.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big part of the agenda.
Anything to keep them distracted.
Well, I don't know if you're aware of this, but after the Vietnam War era and the fact that basically the music industry got together and they basically defeated the Vietnam War. I mean, they had Woodstock. There were many, many music festivals. I mean, culture, music, poetry, the arts, they are basically the strongest proponent of societal change.
Yeah, they are. It's amazing. Like, there's something about music that's so powerful, and which is why I wish more celebrities would speak out about it. But they can't, the people who control the music industry are these same people who, control everything. And these people who are doing this stuff, man, the New World Order agenda. Like, you know that, right? The people who control Hollywood and control the music industry, they're kind of all, obviously they're all in on the agenda in some aspect.
There's some cracks starting to form, though. I was talking about this on another show I did on another channel called Wolf Spirit Radio. One of my best friends now, Barbara Threecrow, she's really into native folklore, wisdom, culture, and
Cool.
yeah, she's just unbelievable. I love that woman. And we were talking about this movie that came out. Now, of course, I'm not really a popular culture guy, so I don't see too many movies, but it won the Oscar for Best Picture in 2015, and it was called Spotlight. Did you hear about that movie?
Spotlight. No, I don't think I saw that one.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, it was an incredible movie because it was all about the pedophilia going on in the Catholic Church.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it was just unbelievable. It was.
I might have seen a preview about that, actually.
Yeah. I mean, this is the beginning of the end. If we can keep this rolling and we can start doing other movies about all the other issues, it was just the Boston Globe did an incredible 1-year research project back. I think it was in 2000 and started in 2000. 9/11 happened and they got postponed a bit, but I think it came out mainly after 9/11, maybe early 2002. And man, it was just the most incredible research into the whole, the extent of the problem. And the movie was just phenomenal. I mean, I think it captured it pretty accurately, how it all came down. And it was real investigative journalism. It wasn't just about one priest getting caught, doing something disgusting with some little kid, but it was actually the whole link in the chain, how it was being hidden by the police and by the legal system and by the church hierarchy, and then they linked it right all the way up to the cardinal, right?
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Yeah, but the thing is that they blew the whole thing out. They showed the whole system, and this is what we have to do with all the issues. We have to show how it all fits together, how the dots connect, and that's kind of what you've done with this with your. I mean, in 3 minutes, what is it? 3:30 your video, 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you touch on almost all the main aspects of geoengineering. That's what I love about it. I mean, it really is. If I was looking online if I could find the lyrics for it. Because, when you do YouTube videos, I often have a lyric of the song. So you don't see the video, you just see the lyrics across the screen. I'm sure you've seen those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have one of those?
No, I don't have that, but I could probably make one or something if I wanted to.
Yeah, I think that'd
be a good idea.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. Or maybe on your underneath the video, just throw in the lyrics, because there's so many. You touch on so many aspects of geoengineering in the video. You talk about how it could be used to control basic Earth systems like earthquakes, tidal waves. I don't know. Did you get that from David? What's his last name? Carnicom?
Clifford Carnicom?
Clifford Carnicom, yeah.
Are you asking if I got that information from him?
Or was it someone else?
Man, I don't remember, to be honest. Most of it, actually, probably the best information came from Elena Freeland's book, The Chemtrails Harp and the Full Spectrum Dominance of Planet Earth. That's a crazy book.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to get it all in an interview. I'll have to get her back on. Yeah, and Billy Hayes is another great guy. If you ever get a chance to talk to him, he's her main resource for information. He basically lived a life of I think it's like 30, 40 years of putting up the towers and constructing the systems. So he knows it.
Yeah, I'm friends with that guy on Facebook, actually. That's funny.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I see his stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. Yeah, he worked on all that HARP stuff, huh? The ionospheric heaters and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, now he's paying the price. He's not doing so well right now. He's got a lot of problems health-wise because of all the energy that was going through him that was not healthy. And but he's doing his best to chronicle his life and create the connections and the awareness. So that's what's great about Billy.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good thing to do.
Oh yeah, no, it's common now that the whistleblowers are coming forward. They're putting it all out there. And like this movie, The Spotlight. I mean, we're going to have at some point. Now, Michael Murphy's made some great movies about geoengineering. A lot of other people have, but we've got to get something in the mainstream. This is what's going to turn the corner.
Yeah, totally, man. That's a huge part of it. Because people look up to celebrities. It's like they want celebrities to tell them what to do, So yeah, that's definitely a big part of it.
Oh yeah, I mean, God, how many celebrity shows are there on TV? I mean, I can't keep track of them all. I throw my TV on maybe once a day looking for the news or the weather, and half the channels have celebrity shows on them, or some talk show with celebrities. I mean, man, is it ever big?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's ridiculous. I don't even watch TV. I stopped watching TV a while ago. I can't take it anymore. And it was mostly just because of commercials, though. It's all commercials in it. You ever notice that?
It's a buy and sell culture.
Yeah.
That's basically what Americans and Canadians and not so much in Europe. I don't know if you've had a chance to get over to Europe, but Europe's a lot more cultural orientated. They're into the arts. They're a little more, and they're multilingual. So yeah, it's a pretty cool place, Europe. You'll meet a lot of fascinating, well-educated people in Europe, much more so than you will in North America. We basically been dumbed down, right?
Yeah, I was just actually reading something about that last night. That book by Charlotte Iserbit. Have you read that book? It's called the deliberate dumbing down of America. It's a book she wrote.
It sounds like a good book. What, it's about fluoride?
No. It's about the education system. See, she was in the Department of Education during, I think it was Ronald Reagan's era, and she's came across this plot to just make, to dumb down our schools and make our kids less smart. And it's crazy, yeah. All of these people like Rockefeller and people, social engineers and psychologists, people who study society, and they just basically train people to just be obedient and, instead of being critical thinkers. So base the education system upon like memorization and repetition rather than, actually thinking and being intelligent. So basically you just become like a drone. Somebody's just a worker rather than a thinker. They don't want thinkers. And yeah, she exposed all of that. She's been doing activism for a long time. I don't know if she's still alive, actually. But yeah, Charlotte Iserbit. You should check that out.
It sounds very interesting. Well, I've read a lot of stuff similar to that. I mean, I kind of broke out when I was about your age or maybe a little younger. I started studying philosophy and different points of view on how to structure society and, different types of economic systems. Capitalism is not the only economic system that's been around, and, how they work, how they might be better, things like that. So I really, I have a different background than most people that I know. So again, my rebellion started when I was like a teenager, and we started, my friends, we all listened to The Doors and Lou Reed. I don't know if you know Lou Reed, but I'm sure probably you do. The radical people.
Yeah. Well, that's what's up.
That's where we started, and Pink Floyd was really starting to get moving back then. The Wall, I mean, that came out when I was I think about 17, 18 years old. I mean, that's got it all, man. That's The Wall, that song. That's where Ike got his idea of compartmentalization, right?
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're just another brick in the wall.
Oh yeah.
That famous lyric. My own son loves that song. He's just turned 13. He was throwing that to me last year. He says, "Hey Dad, look at this cool song." Yeah, I grew up listening to that song. And have you seen that? Have you seen the video they got going with that? Like, we didn't have videos back then, so they made a video for it.
They did? No, I haven't seen the video.
Oh man, is that ever powerful?
Nice. I'll have to check that out.
Oh yeah, check it out. Watch the video of The Wall, and talk about it fits right in with your theme about the fact that the educational system is designed to create robotic, obedient servants.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because ideally, education should be designed to find your ideal strength, your aptitude, and promote those. Right? Look at each individual and say, "Hey, what are your talents? Are you really a banker, or are you more like an architect or a painter or a poet?" Right? Most of the system is designed to support the buy and sell culture, and we need a lot of people to make that work. But in a more artistically leaning or creative culture, which many have existed, we live in one of the dullest cultures that's ever existed, actually. in North America. You know, I hate to say it, but it's true.
Kind of seems like that at times. But have you been to Burning Man? Do you know
Burning
what Burning Man is?
I've heard of Burning Man. Yeah, I think that's an attempt to break out of this kind of like malaise.
Oh yeah, yeah. That place is crazy. I just went there for my first time this year. Well, 2015. But yeah, there's some creative people out there. There's some weird stuff out there, man. It's pretty funny.
Where was that? Somehow I just heard about this festival maybe a month or so ago. Where did you go to see Burning Man?
Burning Man is in the Black Rock Desert. It's like 100 miles north of Reno.
Okay.
So that's like right near where I live, kind of. I live in Carson City, Nevada, which is right next to Reno and Tahoe. So yeah, it's just out there in the middle of the desert. It's on the playa. It's on an old dried up lake bed, and so it's just completely flat, and just covered in dust. And then they go out there and they build a city for a week, and you could basically do whatever you want. And there's all this cool artwork and all these interesting people, and I don't know, it's crazy. It's turned more into like a big party though, kind of. But it's still, there's definitely still the art and the culture and all the different people getting together to do, you know, just hang out for a week. It's actually the third biggest city in Nevada for a week. It's called the Black Rock City.
And how long is it taking to build this city?
They're out there for like a month or two, but it's really only for a week that it's a city, because they burn everything. They build these giant statues. Like they build a giant man. He's like 100 feet tall, and then they just burn him at the end. And they build these temples, these like amazing temples with all these intricate carvings, and they'll be like 70 feet tall, and then they just light them on fire and they just burn them. It's pretty interesting. It's crazy.
And
it's fun.
What does this burning represent?
I mean, burning the man, you know? But it's
You mean
it's
as we're rebelling against the totalitarian system we're now living under? Is it kind of like a liberation kind of happening?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And that's what it was supposed to be when it was founded, but it's changed a lot. You know, because it's been around for a while. And it was started out by some people in San Francisco. And they ended up getting so big that they needed a bigger place to do it, so they went to the Black Rock Desert because they have that giant playa. I mean, it's humongous. It's just, I don't know, it's crazy. But yeah, it was supposed to be like burning the man and rebelling against the system, and like there's no money out there. You don't buy anything. You just trade with each other. You like barter, or you know, just kind of.
There's nobody selling stuff. There's no like big. There's no chains out there selling stuff.
No, nothing at all. Actually, the only thing they sell is ice. It's the only thing you can buy there. Other than that, like you like walk around with a cup, and then you can go around to all of these different tents, and it's just like free bar, and yeah, man, everyone just provides for you basically. Well, of course, you gotta bring your own stuff, you know, bring your own food and stuff. But
yeah, so
yeah, it's weird.
Everybody's camping out.
Exactly. Yeah, there's like 70,000 people. There's an insane amount of people.
It's popular.
It's huge. People come from all over the world. But what it's turned into, it's less about burning the man than it is about like just a giant party. You know, like the hugest, craziest party you've ever been to. And so it's kind of strayed from its roots.
Yeah, the political message has been diluted by the. It probably turns into some like a drunk fest or a drug fest.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But you just got to find where you want to be, because there's so many different things. Like you could find something you're interested, but a lot of it is about like just drugs and sex and alcohol and. I don't know. And it kind of disappointed me, to be honest, when I was there and I saw it was like that, because I was expecting it to be more about rebelling against the system. And then, you know, you just find out that these people aren't about that at all. You know, they're just like, a lot of them are just, you know, kind of just sheepish, and but whatever. It's definitely an experience. I would recommend going.
Yeah, it sounds like a modern Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when people are raised in the culture that we're raised in. I mean, it's hard to find a lifestyle that makes sense, and you end up rebelling, and then you go off, sort of fall off, throw the baby out with the bathwater, I guess is one way of putting it, and you don't have anything to hang on to. I Am Nature, my show, is about rebuilding the foundation of the planet.
Nice.
Yeah, because the three, I talk about the three loves: love of nature, love of source, or whatever vision. I don't tell people what they should believe in spiritually, but I suggest that you find a spiritual something you believe in that makes sense to you, that helps you, and helps guide you. And
yeah, of course.
Provide a value system that's somewhat humanitarian, I guess, would be fundamental. And love, it teaches you to love other people. And then the last part is loving each other and understanding why that's important. Because when there's a love going around, there's a nice energy exchange happening. And
it really is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what happens at the higher realms. And I'm sure when you're creating and you're entering that creative imagination space as an artist, you're getting into that zone, man.
It almost seems like that. It's like it already existed, and you're just kind of, pulling it out of somewhere and putting it, showing it to people. It's weird. Pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of theories on the essence of thought. I studied epistemology as a young philosophy student, theories of knowledge. And, Plato's famous land of the form where everything's perfect, the perfect notion of everything exists. And we try to tap into that through our ability to focus, concentrate. And creativity, though, is different. Imagination is, the creator was loved difference. We look around us, we look at every tree, species, but none of them look the same. I mean, they all have a similar pattern, but they're all unique. And we look around at the human race. They say on the earth there might be one person that looks like you out of 7 billion. That's pretty creative. So creativity is really the bedrock, one of the bedrocks of this planet.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing. I mean, what people come up with, and then you'll have someone who comes up with something, you're like, why didn't I think of that? It's so simple, but I don't know. It's weird. It's also interesting to think about people like Nikola Tesla and how.
Yeah, I was impressed that you knew him or at such a young age. You know about Nikola Tesla. I mean, I'm so impressed, man. Yeah,
that was a huge part of my, getting into alternative knowledge, was learning about this guy and how he basically invented the modern age. And then he's just totally left out of, the books. You don't hear about him. You don't hear about anything. So the free energy thing was something that got me looking into, all the alternative explanations and basically the conspiracies and stuff. And it was because of Nikola Tesla that I found out about 9/11. And that was probably the biggest thing, that awakened me to what's going on. Because I was at my friend's house, my friend Ryan, and on his coffee table he had this book called "Where Did the Towers Go?" And I was like, what is that? I was like, what's that about? And he's like, well, how much time do you have? I don't know. And then just basically explained to me that the Twin Towers are blown up with a directed energy weapon, and that it was like free energy, and it had to do with Nikola Tesla, and like there was a hurricane on 9/11 that nobody knew about. And I was like, whoa, man, this is crazy. But I was really interested in it because I knew about Nikola Tesla, and I knew that the government took his work and then built upon it. after he died, they stole all his notes and stuff. And they were developing these death rays and all the other stuff that he had. And then I read that book. Are you familiar with that book? Where Did the Towers Go by Judy Wood?
Oh, okay. I was going to say, is that by Judy Wood?
Yeah. That was...
I just wrote it down.
Yeah, that just opened my eyes. And that was it. That was before I think I found out about like the chemtrail stuff and stuff like that. Was reading that book. And that was, fascinating. Very fascinating.
Well, I mean, there's so many different theories in the alternative news kind of genre, and I think it's gotten a bit overwhelming. I mean, Judy Wood's book is fascinating. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people who don't agree with her. There's a huge group of people, the engineers and architects. There's like, I don't know how many there are. 50,
well, actually, what's interesting about that, the architects, that's Richard Gage's group, right?
You got me. You're probably right. I don't know who's the head of it, but yeah.
Oh, what's crazy about that is that group came online like a month after Judy Wood came out with all of her research.
Oh, I thought they came first.
No. They came like right after in order to disprove her. Because they came out with the thermite stuff. And that's like the most popular theory, but it doesn't explain like what really happened. The only theory which really approaches from an empirical viewpoint and looks at only the scientific empirical evidence is Judy Wood's theory of the directed free energy device, because it has to do with like the Hutchison effect. Are you familiar with the Hutchison effect?
Oh, I watched her video, but the Hutchison effect, no, I remember she mentioned that, but re-explain it to me.
Yeah, goes back to this guy named John Hutchison. He's from Canada. He's a Canadian inventor, and he was doing all this stuff with high frequency waves, and basically kind of coming across what Nikola Tesla was doing and doing similar stuff to what he was doing. And he would have all these weird effects on the stuff where he bombarded with frequencies. Like he would have things just spontaneously combust or things levitate and just stuff that shouldn't happen according to, the laws of physics.
I've seen his videos. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, he got things to float. Well, it's like the suspension bridge, right? When they engineer bridges, they have to make sure that they don't resonate at certain frequencies, because they've had problems with huge bridges just in windstorms, just oscillating to the same frequency as the wind, and just falling apart. Each time that it moved, the wave got larger and larger. So they've learned from their own mistakes. But you're saying if they can use the similar. Instead of being wind, just use a type of energy wave and create a similar effect in any kind of matter.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all has to do with frequencies, and that's what Nikola Tesla says. He says if you want to understand the universe, think in terms of frequencies and vibrations, and that's the chemtrails have to do with that too, because in order to use the ionospheric heaters, you need an ionized atmosphere, and that's what all these heavy metals are that they're spraying into the atmosphere. I mean, it all has to do with frequencies.
Yeah, they capture the energy much more effectively than if they weren't there, they wouldn't resonate. They wouldn't have the effect. They wouldn't capture the heat and the energy coming from these different heaters, whether they're ground-based or space-based, or who knows where they're coming from. Who knows? Maybe they're on the moon and Mars by now.
Exactly. Yeah, but back to Judy Wood. I believe
effect. Yeah,
the Hutchison effect. You got all of these like fire trucks and ambulances and cop cars that were blocks away from the Twin Towers, and they have all of these weird, they're like melted, but part of them aren't melted. Like the paint is brand new right next to this melted door, like the fender will be perfectly good, but then the door next to it is completely melted, or like the tires are all melted. Or there will be like what looks like a burning piece of metal surrounded by paper, but the paper isn't on fire. Like all these weird effects. And
Does she also ascribe to the theory that the plane was actually a holographic image? It wasn't actually real?
Well, she doesn't go into that because, like I said, she tries to stick to only the empirical evidence, only the things that can be measured and actually, where you can find data about it and look at it. But I know a lot of people speculate about that, and I kind of think that too. I don't really think there were planes. I think that whole story is pretty fishy. But anyways, I think there's a movement within, like, the conspiracy movement, within the truth movement, that is trying to discredit Judy Wood and her work. Because think about it, if people find out that there's free energy and that our government, or these people, our shadow government or whoever, use it to destroy these towers and then start this war with the Middle East, and it was free energy, like first of all, we're in this energy crisis. We're dependent on oil. It controls the world. And if people find out that, free energy is real and that it's available, and yet it's just they make a weapon out of it and then they blow us up with it, that's a big deal. So,
David Castle, writer of the song Digital Clouds, and creator of the group Homage. So, David, this is the time when I usually do the pitch for the station. Revolution Radio is one of the top sites on the internet for alternative news, folks. We have 2 platforms running 24/7 with over 90 different shows on Revolution Radio. All I suggest that you do, folks, is kick in $5 a month for the archives. You can't go wrong. You're going to learn so much from my show, from other shows. I mean, you don't have enough time to listen to them all. There's 2 platforms running at the same time. But, man, you're going to find your favorite hosts on the show. I've got a couple of mine that I usually listen to every week. And you can download them. You can listen to them at your leisure whenever it makes sense. I love to listen to shows when I'm driving in my car, so instead of listening to the stupid radio and all the nonsense on AM or FM radio, throw in one of the shows and get edificated. So there you go, folks. There's my promo for Revolution Radio. You got to support us. We're listener sponsored all the way. We take no sponsors. We're not at all pressured to present any point of view. Every host comes on and they do their own thing based upon their life experience and research. So you got to support us and keep us going. All right, David, we're back to you, and I guess we were talking about the great book written by Judy Wood when we went on the break.
Yeah. We sure were. Yeah, where were we? I don't know. Yeah,
you seem to have absorbed a lot of it. Like I say, I watched a video about it. I actually contacted her or someone who works for her. Maybe she's got an agent or something, and he said, well, you got to read the book first before you can come on or get her on the show. So I haven't gotten around to doing that. But you just sort of jogged my memory that I should get into that because she'd be a most fascinating guest.
Yeah, you should. I think she's one of those girls, like Elena Freeland. Like, she wrote, like, the book, And the fact that she doesn't go into the political aspect of it and talking about, like, oh, George Bush did it for this reason. Like, she doesn't talk about any of that stuff. It's just all strictly like a scientific analysis and really using the scientific method to come to this conclusion that this is what happened. And that's what's really special about it. And I think that's how a lot of the stuff should be with, alternative knowledge where you're challenging the traditional theory. You got to have solid evidence, and it has to be based upon science and not just speculation, and you got to account for all the different evidence. I believe she's done that, and so, props to Judy Wood. She's cool. I think more people should check that book out.
Yeah, I agree with you. She has a background in engineering, or there's a science of actually looking at the remains of an accident and then determining what caused. Like, I used to know someone who was an expert in plane crash analysis. So you look at all the damaged, and then you can, based upon the damage inflicted on a plane, you can determine why the plane crashed, which is pretty sophisticated stuff. So I think she has a similar type of background to that.
Yeah, I'm looking for a book right now. I don't. It's like structural analysis, and it has to do with looking at photographs and finding out how, something got destroyed in that way or something.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of photographs that show that a lot of the tower actually didn't hit the ground. That it sort of like dematerialized.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, I'm glad I wasn't in it, but I mean,
it's insane, man. She uses the term dustified, like it just got turned into nanodust in midair, like literally. And if you look at the amount of rubble and wreckage, it's not. There isn't enough rubble. It's impossible, and it also
says about a quarter of the building fell, only about a quarter.
Yeah, and it's like what happened to the rest of the building, and that's why the title is, where did the towers go? Because they just disappeared. It's crazy. And another big part, something that sticks out to me is the seismic impact. Like the seismic impact, which was registered for when the towers, fell, like they said. Because the official theory is the pancake theory, right? One floor fell on top of the other, and it caused all of the floors to collapse.
Right. And we all know all the based upon the these engineering guys, at least they put forth the premise that every building is designed to withstand the impact of an airplane hitting it. Anything higher than 20 floors or something. I mean, it's part of the engineering specs. It's got it because they know it can happen. They don't want buildings falling down because some plane goes. They know planes go awry on occasion.
Yeah,
and
true.
They could easily hit a building, so they're all designed to withstand the force of a plane impact.
Yeah, and that's what's weird is like the towers didn't even really like hit the ground. I mean, like some of the dust did and stuff, but the towers didn't collapse to the ground as you would see in like a traditional collapse, like a pancake type collapse. Like the seismic impact just doesn't correlate with that much mass hitting the ground. It just doesn't add up. Like she compares it to the Seattle Kingdome, which is like a sports arena that they demolished. And she compares the mass of that compared to like one of the towers. And the Kingdome is like, has nowhere near as much mass as one of the Twin Towers did, but it's like the seismic impact of those were like, you could just tell that the ones for the World Trade Center should have been much, much higher. Like it would have created a bigger earthquake. So
she looked at the seismic record for the area on that day, and she didn't.
Exactly, yeah.
She said based upon, because they know how much the building weighed, they know how much the materials that were built. I'm sure there's specs on everything, all the architectural drawings, what it's made of. So you can easily calculate the weight of the building.
Yeah.
And based upon it falling, it should have had a certain, effect on the ground and the shock wave. It makes sense. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. So she goes, looks at stuff like that. And another thing which was really interesting, and it actually has to do with geoengineering and the chemtrail thing, was there was a gigantic hurricane right off of the coast of New York on 9/11. And then right after the tower fell, well, one of the last towers, I don't know if it was Tower 7, because I know that was like one of the last ones to fall. But
the third one to go down, yeah.
Yeah, because actually there were 7 World Trade Center buildings that got destroyed that day, not just 3. It's crazy. But the storm was heading straight for New York City. And then right after the events of 9/11 occurred, it went back out into the Atlantic Ocean and then dissipated. And this was a serious storm. It was like, I don't think it was a Category 5, but it was a pretty serious storm. And it was headed right for New York City. But for some reason, they didn't have it on the news this morning. On the morning of 9/11, they just left out this gigantic hurricane. when they were doing the weather, which is weird, like that's just obviously if there's a hurricane, this is something you report in the weather, in the weather section of the news, but they didn't even mention it. And then
so what? Yeah, I heard about this hurricane that was. I think Dane Wigington brought that up, and he was the first person I interviewed for my program way back last year in January of 2015, and he brought that up too. So, do you think that this hurricane had something to do with the collapse? Does Wood speculate on that? You say she doesn't speculate, but
well, it's definitely something which is it seems to have they seem to be related, just simply for the fact that it wasn't on the news, and then the way this hurricane was moving, you could tell it was being manipulated. It was moving in a way which hurricanes don't normally move. And the fact that it completely changed course and made a 90-degree turn and then went back out into the Atlantic Ocean as opposed to continuing towards New York and, messing up the city. It just turned. It made a right-hand turn and then just left. But I guess what the idea is there's so much energy in a hurricane, and, there's so much electrical energy and weird effects which happen in a hurricane. You could see pictures of a piece of straw going through a tree or something like that. Hurricanes have weird properties, which they just do weird stuff to materials. And so I guess the idea is that you could have used some of that energy and then directed it, as a weapon to destroy something. And, I'm not an expert. I'm not the one who should be talking about this book, but I just know a little about it, and I try to talk about what I know about it. But the hurricane was just another weird thing that's going on.
Sounds like another song there, buddy. Another music video about
the book. Could be. Where actually, you know what? I'm making a movie, and the big
movie. Tell me about your movie.
Yeah, well, it's called Language is Art, and what I've done is I've written all these poems, long poems, 100-line poems or something. And then I go around and I've written them all on these little pieces of paper, and I cut them out, and so it's one line each. And I get a different person to say each line, and then I edit it together, and then they talk about something crazy that nobody knows about. All these strangers that I meet on the street and different places. And then it comes together and it makes a poem, and it's pretty entertaining. It's pretty weird, and it's about a bunch of different stuff. The chemtrail thing is definitely a part of it. 9/11 is a part of it, but it also touches on other things, and it's kind of my perspective of society and what's going on, but it's spoken through society.
Well, and you picked 100 different people. Why did you do that? Why didn't you just read it yourself?
Because it's just cooler that way. It's funny, man. People are so weird, and there's so many different people, and it's because it's a metaphor, there's this information which needs to get out, and more people need to know it. So I'm going to go and I'm going to get people to say it for me. I'm going to get 1,000 different people to say this stuff for me, because that's more powerful than if I was just to say it.
Well, you're using your music again as an educational vehicle, man.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
This is so important, and this is what revolutionary music used to do. What you might want to check out, there's a guy named Alberto Ruz, R-U-Z. I interviewed him 4 times. This guy is the closest living example of somebody like a Jesus or Yeshua, depending on how you want to say his name. He went around, first of all, he set up an eco-village, which is about the coolest thing on earth, I think.
What is it? What's it called?
An eco-village.
What is that?
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. An eco-village is a village, basically, that attempts to do everything local, create its own food, create its own energy, harvest its own water, do everything local, create its own culture. And he was like you, an artist. So he first of all he created his own eco village, and they have the coolest looking homes. I can share the site with you. It's called Wewe Koyo, which he speaks like 6 different languages.
Really?
Yeah, he's the coolest guy. But so first of all, he developed this eco village because he wanted to live in harmony with the world, and that's the way we used to live, right? We used to, before we came here, all the European warlords came here and destroyed pretty much close to perfection, which was the native clan system of organizing societies, small groups of people living together. They had their own management system that worked very well. And they saw all the energy of nature, the nature spirits, the energy coming out of plants. They had their own medical system administered by the shaman of the tribe. I mean, it was just a beautiful system. And we didn't have any idea how it worked when we came here, because we didn't see it, because we're lost in this power kind of war culture, and it's been going on for about 6,000 years. So this guy Alberto Ruiz says, "Okay, I'm going to do it the way we used to do it," and he developed his own culture, his own music, his own art form, and then he got on a bus and he went all across Latin America down to South America. And he promoted the idea of what he was doing in trying to teach the poor people how to fend for themselves, because the biggest problem that poor people have is that they don't realize that they don't need the government to live, that they can fend for themselves. They can grow their own food. They can create their own sanitation systems. They can build their own homes. They can become self-sufficient. And this is the way we used to live. We never used to need government. The thing was provided locally, right?
Yeah.
And this is what we got to get back to. This is another major theme of my show. And but this guy actually put it in motion, and he had a huge effect. He spawned all sorts of great movements, and he did this 13 years. He actually had 2 or 3 kids on this bus, and he's just the most fascinating guy you ever want to meet. It's all in my podcast. I can share it with you, but man, this guy is beautiful, powerful, and he's still alive. He's 70 years old now, living in Mexico. Spends a fair bit of time traveling around, helping other people create eco villages. But there's literally thousands upon thousands of these villages springing up all over the planet.
Wow! And what is his name again? How do you spell his name?
Alberto Ruiz, R-U-Z. Yeah, you check out my podcast. It's there. I can share all the information with you. Yeah,
sweet. I'll have to check that out. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we need the artistic people with the message to get out there. I mean, the thing I like about your video is that it's engaging. It's cool. I mean, it's like you got everything there. You got the imaginative part of it, and then you got the informative part of it, and then you got the fun part of it, the beat. I'm listening to it. I want to move to the music, right? Mm-hmm. It gets me engaged. And see, this is the way we used to exchange knowledge. All the shamans and the most religious people, they used to have this big religious gathering, and it was all about dance and performance, and we didn't write stuff down back then, right?
Yeah.
It was all exchanged through music. So music is the primal art form, man.
Wow, I never really thought about that. That's true. That's interesting.
Yeah, if you probably haven't had time to look at the Vedic tradition, but I mean, the sutras, all their deepest, most profound prayers were sung. And I'll tell you, I mean, we don't understand much of it anymore. I've got a friend who's been studying it for about 25 years. He says, I'm just starting to get like 1/1,000,000th into it. It's so complex. But Tesla read all the Vedic texts.
Did he?
He understood it.
Vedic text.
And I can share that stuff with you too, because you're a pretty smart guy for a 22-year-old. So there's what I'm getting at is that the way we used to do things, this beautiful culture where everybody had there were like 1,200 different cultures in North America, 100 million native people living here. Now, it wasn't perfect. There was a little bit of rivalry here and there. There were some wars, kind of like wars, going on between certain tribes, but they did live in harmony with nature. They all respected the mother. That was the fundamental premise, and for that reason, they never destroyed the biosphere like we're doing now. Right? We've really lost that connection in North America.
Yeah, totally. We're so out of touch with nature.
Yes. And the Nature Spirits. Yeah, did you see Nature Spirits as a kid?
No, I didn't. Is that a movie? What is that? Oh, Nature Spirits.
Nature Spirits are actually they're helpers of all the plants, and they're also there's water nature spirits,
like little fairies and stuff like that, kind of.
Yeah, they're mainly translucent creatures or beings. They used to come to me at night. Used to dance around on my window at night when I was a kid. I had the privilege of living right on the edge of a huge forest as a child. Wow. So I basically played in the forest. I didn't do much in the playground. I used to just run off into the forest and try to drag my friends down in there with me. And we used to have a lot of fun. And even though I lived in an apartment building, we were right on the edge of this forest. So I was really lucky. Nice. Kind of like, but prior to that, I remember when I was like 4 or 5, I lived in this other place. It was like a concrete jungle. And I could just see myself becoming a delinquent, because the only thing I like to do is take rocks and try to hit the hubcaps of cars as they pass by on the road. I used to think that was fun. Later I played baseball because I had a good arm for doing that. But there was nothing to do in these places. These ghettos create problems.
Yeah, they do, man. It's crazy. What I do, I skateboard. That's what I'm into.
Well, that's a great creative way of dealing with an unnatural setting. It's the same with breakdancing, man. That's cool. That is, that's the great thing about the human mind. The artistic. This is why the artists used to lead, right? The shaman was the singer too, the dancer, the dance creator. Often they were the drummer or whatever musical form they used, right? So you're kind of like a baby shaman. You're trying to enlighten the dumbed down culture of North America. That's how important you are to this. You are an important guy.
Thank you.
Nation. You see. I can talk to people all day about this stuff, and it might, I might persuade 1 in 100. But if this video of yours and other stuff that you're going to write, because you're very creative and I can see you doing a lot more, you can get 1 in 10, because you see you got that extra, that musical, that it's a primordial energy that everybody connects with, or most people do, especially young people.
Wow, yeah, that's inspiring. Hopefully that's true. I think that is true. Yeah, man. Like, music has its special power, and when you can make music, it kind of like, for some reason, like lends you more credibility. I don't know. People just listen to what you're saying.
Look at these guys. They get up there, they play guitar cool, and the women go crazy. It's obviously it's an energetic connection. A lot of it is sexual. Obviously, for women, anyways. But I'm more looking at the issue of enlightening, raising the intellect and the soul and the spirit. And for me, it's the reconnection to nature. But the part of it is just realizing that, hey, what we're doing now, we open this Pandora's box called technology. We obviously weren't ready, for it. And and the Teslas and the people who wanted to do really good things with their inventions were blocked, and it was stolen. What do you expect? We've had a culture of warring factions for like 6,000 years. What do you expect anybody who invents something? It's going to be used for war, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a given. I mean, that's why, that's another one of the things in my show is that let's stop creating stuff that's technological and let's start using our technology to fix the planet instead of trying to create something new. Because they're just gonna use it against us.
Yeah, and they totally are. And just this technology, even, what we're doing right now, it's destroying our bodies, like the Wi-Fi signals and the data from your phones, all these just unnatural frequencies to the body. It's like, it's just bad for you. It's,
Yeah. Yeah, it's because we have our own energy signatures, and we have our chakras and our auras, and they've studied all this stuff, and they understand it better than we do. The people making these weapons, and they are definitely, evidently, the frequency they use for cell phones is the same frequency that thought is the scalar frequency of the mind.
Oh yeah, mind control is such a huge aspect of everything that's going on, and the cell phones are a huge part of it. Computers, TV, I mean, music, and the cell phone towers, and just all these frequencies just messing with your mind. They're broadcasting them, just trying to put you into that zombie state,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where it kind of shuts off the mind more than controls it, I think. But you see, your music enlightens people. So music is sort of a neutral tool. The problem is that the music industry was bought out back in the early 70s, along with the media, by the military-industrial complex and the bankers. And they basically have said, no, you want to make it music. There's a lot. I don't know if you ascribe to the theory that a lot of what's going on in the music industry is worse than is satanic.
Oh yeah, it totally is. Yeah, say Hollywood and the music industry. I mean, they're all into some weird shit. It's crazy. There's weird stuff, man. The Luciferian element is definitely real. People, they'll sell their soul to become famous. It's a well-known thing.
Yeah.
And the stuff with Aleister Crowley and...
What do you know about Aleister Crowley?
I know a little bit. I just know that he's a big influence on a lot of just what's going on right now. The occult. The occult is such a huge influence on these people.
Did you see this at Burning Man? This would be something I'd be interested to know because it's quite dominant in a lot of the drug cultures. It's a huge problem in Mexico right now. A lot of the gangs that are selling their drugs and protecting the drug lords or whatnot are into a satanic ritual and all that kind of stuff. Did you see this at the Burning Man event?
I guess you could say the whole thing is like a giant satanic ritual, because what you do, you gather around a giant burning man. It's kind of weird, but there's not really much of that. It's just a lot of it's like hippies, like free love, like the nicest people you'll ever meet. But I could see how it is it's kind of like a satanic thing, for what they're promoting, the sex and the drugs and stuff like that. But I think it would be something which most of those people aren't even aware of at all. They're not devout Satanists. They're just people trying to have fun. And it just so happens that it's kind of goes along with what Satanist values. It's like our society is brought up to be kind of Satanist. There's no more God or anything. Science is God. The state is God. There's no they want people believing in a higher power.
Money is God, right?
Yeah. It's all about money.
This is how we manipulate all these scientists into doing all this treacherous work, is with the high pay the money is big in the military-industrial complex, and my friend James McCanney, he's one of the top scientists in the world, but nobody knows about him because he didn't take the route that most people of his ilk and ability have taken, which is they basically take the top minds, and they funnel them all into the military-industrial complex, and the pharmaceutical industrial complex, and the medical industrial complex. And that's where the big research dollars are, right? And you want to do something beneficial, there's no money for that. The money is all in the sciences that are here to, create slaves of people, or to create disease in people, or to create weapons of mass destruction. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, we really do live in an era where evil is very much in control.
Totally, 100%, man. That's what the Illuminati is, Whether you want to believe in that stuff or not, or all these occult people, they believe in, I don't know, that occult stuff. It's pretty interesting. There's a lot of good information in it, and for how the universe works and stuff. I think a lot of it makes sense, but it's definitely used to control people, and that's the goal for people, is to control other people and make yourself into a god rather than worshiping someone above you. It's pretty weird. I just read this book, The Kabbalion. That was pretty crazy. Have you heard of Hermes Trismegistus?
Hermes I've heard of.
Yeah, Hermes, that's the guy. And apparently through what this book was saying was he's a big influence on all of the occult stuff, all of this secret knowledge, because he lived back in the time of Abraham, back in the biblical times, and apparently he was an influence on Abraham, and he just found out all the stuff about the universe, and then he taught everyone about it, or people who are ready to know about it, because not everybody is ready for this information. It flies over a lot of people's heads, but for the people who understand, then it could be used to do some, it could be used to do some devilish stuff, or it could be used to do good stuff. But what the people in power are doing is they're using this occult knowledge to control everybody else and try to depopulate the world and just tighten their grip on the world. And it's messed up.
Yeah, I was listening to Lorraine Murray the other day. She's interesting lady. She's knows a lot about all the different technologies, the HARP technology. She's saying that the Russians are actually using it for good. I'm not sure how they're using it for good, but they're using it to protect themselves from the negative influences of the chemtrailing and whatnot. I think Putin is about our last hope of surviving on this planet. I'm really impressed with what he's been doing, and how he finally saw the writing on the wall a couple of years ago when the Ukraine thing happened, and he said, "Hey, I'm out of this." They said they wanted to depopulate, and now I believe they want to no populate. They basically want to replace humans across the board, and he's been doing some really progressive stuff. So I think he's our ticket, hopefully our ticket to a better world. And we got to support good old Vladimir Putin, because he's one of the more sensible guys out there.
Yeah, good old Putin. Yeah, I think he's been doing some good stuff too. He's definitely an interesting guy. Hey, I got a question though.
Sure.
How does somebody listen to this radio show right now?
How do they listen to it? They go to freedomslips.com.
Okay.
Go to Studio B right on the homepage. You just got to because we have two platforms running simultaneously. It just doesn't, some places you go, you just hear it right away, but you actually got to hit the studio player. So freedomslips.com, put that in your browser, and then you go to Studio B, which is just scroll down a bit below the top banner ads, and you'll see the studios, and you click on Studio B. It should work.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, it's in the promo ad. I guess you didn't see it. I noticed your response on Skype. We weren't friends on Facebook, although I thought we were. So, but now we are. So, and I also do a podcast of the show, which I'll share with you. I should have it up by tomorrow.
Nice.
You can. It'll be your permanent record of our discussion. So it's it's a great vehicle. Tunes the Tube is the program I use, and see what I do is I've got like, I don't know, 55 shows now I've done, and anytime I talk to someone and I say I talked to you about Alberto Ruz, well, I can show, okay, these are the 4 shows I did with them. You might want to listen to them if you want to learn about eco-villages, and there's so much stuff happening that's positive on this planet, but we don't hear about it, right? Because the mainstream doesn't focus on what's going on the positive level. They just want everyone to stay in a state of fight or flight, and not find ways around the issues. And that's why my show, I focus on solutions.
Nice. That's good. Yeah, we need more of that. Thank you.
I think so. And you're one of the solutions, brother.
Yeah. Hopefully.
We need more of your music. We need more of your music. I mean, right after I heard your video, I said, okay, who do I get? Oh, I'll talk to Suzanne Mayer, because Suzanne's into billboards. And yeah, we got to get this song playing somewhere, nonstop. And that's where we came up with the idea of doing it on Times Square, but I guess that's a bit expensive.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, man. Times Square is a big deal, apparently.
Yeah. Well, I was hoping to get Bernadette Green on. She's organizing a world Canada-wide tour to promote Geo Engineering this summer. So I'd love to see your video playing on a huge TV on the side of a van or something, as they truck around. That would be
that'd be dope.
Like they do that, unfortunately, using the wrong message or promoting the wrong message. But you go to a place like Vegas, I'm sure you've been there because you live so close, and you see these trucks running around with big TVs on the side, right? Promoting this resort or this well, I don't want to say what, but various business services down there in Vegas. I was actually shocked at how much the selling of sex was so dominant in Vegas.
Yeah, it's huge, man. Actually, right here in I'm actually like 700 miles away from Vegas.
Oh, you're that far?
Yeah, Nevada's huge. I'm up in Carson City, which is the capital, but right here, we're right next to like the Bunny Ranch. You ever heard of the Bunny Ranch?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's right here in town. Well, actually, it's right on the outskirts of town.
Were you out there with your gun, supporting them?
Nah. But it's weird, like whatever. I guess some people say it's like the oldest profession or something. Whatever, whatever works. I guess. I guess there's worse things.
Yeah. There's definitely worse things than prostitution.
Yeah.
About it. No. This military-industrial complex. I mean, I've been on this message for almost 40 years now, and it's still hard for people to believe that we could live in a world where half your tax dollars are being used to create war everywhere but here, and then we wonder why people want to kill us. It's kind of like and it's only through this mainstream media complex, which completely distorts what's actually happening, that people don't understand these facts. And we're the good people. The Canada and the U.S. and all the European allies, we've got military bases in almost every country on the planet. We're the ones that are trying to create havoc. It isn't these militants, and we're creating the militants. We're creating these Al-Qaeda and ISIS groups, and it's going to be a struggle. I think as more and more people become poor, I hate to say it, but when the money god abandons them, that's when they start looking for alternative explanations. And that's what's going to turn the corner, I think, in our favor. And that's why they're working so hard not to let this thing collapse. But I think it's inevitable. And that's why these eco-villages are so important, David, is that, and they do foster creativity. Like every one of them, I know quite a few people living in them, and they all have microeconomies, most of them based on creativity, music, art. That's how they make a living. And so it's a great place to meet other creative people.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool idea. There should be more of that stuff.
Well, there's a thing called IC.org, Intentional Community .org. I think it's Intentional Fellowship Community or something like that.
Okay.
IC.org, it's the easiest website to find. And they've got 1,700 communities within their organization. They're mainly based in North America. There's actually a lot more of them in the U.S. than in Canada. But they maintain a very low profile. They don't really click well with the mainstream. And so, but you go to their site, man, they've got the most. You sound like to me you're quite a reader. You get on their email list. They send out a list of their publications, and man, they've written their stuff in their magazine on every aspect of setting up a village, how to farm, how to build alternative buildings, how to get around all the laws, all the limitations, the taxes, the zoning bylaws. I mean, these guys have got it worked out.
Huh. Yeah, I'd like to see if there's any one of those close by here and maybe go check it out. That'd be interesting.
I'd be shocked if there wasn't. I mean, you just go there. They got a list of everyone in every state. And if there's 1,700, there's not that many in Canada. The thing about Canada is that we've got, a little bit different orientation in our government. We don't let people like get dirt poor like you do down in the States as much. We got a fairly responsible social service system. Men are kind of left out to dry, but the women with the kids, they're well supported here. So we don't have the same kind of issues you have down there. So you don't have as many people looking for alternative ways to live. And so, like I say, abject poverty pushes people in the right direction, I think. And they say, hey, how am I going to live without a government supporting me or giving me a house? And they realize, hey, there's places to live where I don't need any government. And now there's more and more pressure being put on these groups, but that's why more people have to get involved to support them. And I'm sure there's groups where everyone lives and they're all musically inclined. This is one of the things I promote through my show is the establishment of more and more of these organizations or small societies, really, and pick a theme. We could have one based upon making music videos that are going to help the planet.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool to live in a place where there was 10 other people that were into what you're doing?
Yeah, that'd be fun. It'd be cool skateboarding thing.
Oh, yeah. You could have if that's what you like, skateboarding. But I'm thinking more of the musical end of it.
Yeah, that'd be cool too. Well, skateboard, music, they go hand in hand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, my son's a freestyle skier, eh? Big time freestyle skier. He's going to junior nationals here in Canada.
Nice.
Yeah, he's pretty crazy, pretty tough and pretty fearless, and it's the same ethic, right? It creates courageous people. It's a bit too tough for me. I'm more of a tennis, ultimate, yoga kind of guy, but hey, I never stop people from doing what they want to do, and I believe in people following their own voice. So yeah, you want to be a skateboarder, man, you better be tough.
It's true. You got to learn how to, you fall and get back up.
Have you been to Woodward or Copper?
No, I have not.
Do you know what it is?
Been to Woodward at Boreal.
Oh yeah. Is there one there too?
Yes, indeed.
Is it like the one at Copper?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure they're all, pretty similar, but probably the same basic idea. Where is that? Is that in Canada?
No, Woodward or Copper Mountain, Colorado.
Oh, okay.
But there's
Yeah.
one closer to you.
Yeah, there's one just like an hour or two away, Boreal. It's really fun.
It's an indoor kind of like freestyle kind of place where you can ski or you can do skateboarding and tramping and that kind of stuff.
Yep, exactly.
Beautiful. Beautiful. My son, I took my son there when he was like 7. It was like paradise to him. We need more of those places.
Yeah, we do, man. We need like adult playgrounds. Is what we need. We need more things to just have fun. It's like life is too boring sometimes.
Well, that's it. I mean, there's nothing to do. Well, let's go get stoned.
Yeah.
Well, let's do Burning Man. Let's do a Burning Man. But there's so many cool things that we could be doing. I mean, have you been to France?
No.
Well, you go to Paris, France. I mean, it's just unbelievable. There is a bloody art gallery on almost every corner in that city, and it is massive, that city. This is how much they're into art over there. And I'm telling you, art of every form, and you can imagine, film art, statues, painting, poetry. I mean, every genre of art is so supported in Paris. It's unbelievable. And then the history. And that's the way you create a great society.
Yeah, you have to have culture. It's very important. That's cool. I would like to go there sometime.
I think you'd really get off on the and it might give you some ideas because you've got that creative thing going already. Art, like I say, artists sort of they feed off each other.
Yeah, totally.
Because you probably watch other things, and you feed off you feed off of just learning and reading books, and you're just like a sponge, and you're going to become hopefully one of the top radical musicians and informers. Because like I say, I can talk all day, but if somebody puts it into a music video, it's cool. And it resonates, and the message gets out a lot more powerfully.
Yeah, that's the idea. It's so cool what you can do nowadays, like with the internet and with just the technology we all have available to us. And if you can just, find a way to be creative and actually put in the work to make something, you can do pretty cool stuff. And that's definitely something I want to do. I'm going to try my hardest to do that.
Have you ever heard of a site called the Liberty Beacon?
I think I have heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's cool. I don't know if you noticed, but after I met you, I don't know, a couple months ago, I threw some ideas at you on Skype, and one of the people I suggested you meet is a guy named Ralph Ely. I'm with the Liberty Beacon movement now. I'm one of their staff writers and evidently a core staff member. I've just been there for about a month now, and it's kind of like everybody kind of chips in, does a little bit to help and promote the organization and offer articles to go on the site. It's sort of like a collective of activists, and but he spent like 20 years in the media business.
Really?
Yeah. So you need to know some people in this business. And what I found through my show is just once you meet one person, they know someone that you want to meet. And so the more people you meet in the media business, and he's on the good side of media, not on the dark side, he can help you connect with some people who might want to promote your music, your videos. You say you got an album coming out soon. Why don't you talk a bit about that, the kind of other stuff you got going? We've been focusing mostly on digital clouds, but what are some of the other themes in your music?
Well, okay. So the album is called Inscrutable Malice, and man, what is? I don't know. There's all different kinds of stuff. It's just it's a rap album. There's got a bunch of different songs. A lot of the kind of stuff where you spread an awareness and just talking about what's going on in my mind, I guess, just making up. songs.
You
I don't
have
know
a
how to
you have a
describe.
thought. You do one of the other ones I noticed was really it focused on poverty or the fact that we're all working for nothing or next.
Yeah. Overworked and underpaid. That's what that one's called.
Okay, yeah.
And
A lot of people can relate to that song. I'll tell you.
yeah, man, that's kind of why I wanted to make it. And it's how I've been feeling, you know. It's like that, just always working and never getting ahead. It's just
So you're not
funny.
working at your dream job right now.
No, no, not yet.
Well, I
Trying.
mean, most people are. I read an article that 80% of Americans are working like way more than they want to, and they're living paycheck to paycheck. So to me, that's poor.
Yeah, it totally is. I mean, we're all broke, and that's why everyone wants to, vote for someone who's going to give them free money and stuff. And we're just it's intentional. It's like money is just becoming less valuable. The dollar is just worth less, but we're still being paid the same amount, but everything's so much more expensive. So it all has to do with just becoming more dependent on the governments, the New World Order agenda. Can't be self-sustainable, and
Well, that's where this global movement to create eco villages is really important because they're the only ones that are beating the system. Really, when you're dependent on money, you're a slave. I don't care how rich you are, but when you can do everything you need, meet your basic needs on your own with a group of people that you love being with, you're committed to, that you get along with. I mean, you got it. We're basically back to where we were before we came here and destroyed it.
Yeah, that is a good idea. I mean, moving away from money, I don't know, money's cool, like, if you have it, but you gotta go through a lot to get it. It's hard to come by these days. But, yeah, as far as the album goes, yeah, I got that song. There's just a bunch of songs, there's like 15 songs or something like that.
15?
Yeah, something.
But how are we gonna, well, we should talk about ways to connect with you and all that kind of stuff because we're getting in near the end of our show here. So I always like to, at the end, just sort of summarize, and people who are really into your music, we should probably put it back on as we close out the show. That song, or your great song, Digital Clouds. But what's the best way for people to find you? What, on YouTube, Homage TV, or what?
Yeah, you can go to my YouTube channel, Homage TV.
Homage TV.
Homage TV. I'm trying to think of, like, I'm just not putting out that much music right now, but the album is going to be done by the end of this month. Hopefully, that's what we have planned. It's kind of depending on
you should
my
come
producer.
on again when you get your album done. And, you don't have to do a full 2 hours, but we can just talk about the album and go through the songs and sort of, like get a better sense of what it's all about. Because I think I'm just sort of overwhelming you a bit when I ask you, like, sort of summarize it. But just sort of think about it more and, come up with a little bit of a cool kind of spiel on what it's all about.
Exactly. Yeah. I need to think about it more.
Yeah.
Just
No.
to find words to describe it.
It's still in evolution, man. So
Exactly. But yeah, I also got a Facebook. You can look up Homage on Facebook. I don't really post much on there. I should probably put more on there.
I did that, you know what? And I came up with nothing.
It's hard to find because nobody knows about it. I only got like 100 likes or something, and it's I don't know, man. But follow me on Instagram. If you kids got Instagram, it's H0MAGE, so Homage with a 0. And other than that, I don't know. I got Facebook. You can add David Castle on Facebook. But if you want to find my music,
David Castle, like Castle, on Facebook. Hook up with him. I just friended him today, folks. Any of my younger listeners, I think you're really gonna, you got to watch this video. It's the coolest thing, man. I just love it. And I'm 60, so. But I'll tell you, it's something that any age group can. I know everybody in the Geo Engineering movement or anti-Geo Engineering movement is into, and love this video. I haven't met anybody who's going to say it's the coolest thing.
Cool, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll try
We got to get you out. We got to get you hooked up more with people doing demonstrations